What's up, snappers? Welcome back to the channel. DDDREWSKY here. Today we're gonna be looking at the brand new card Gorr the God Butcher to see if he's worth your precious resources. We're gonna be looking at his key Synergies Counters and some decks that I brewed for him. But wait, before we do that, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach 1,000 subs. We're very close. And I do weekly reviews of the brand new card in Marvel Snap, so you do not want to miss out. Hit that notification bell right now. Now let's get back into it. So now the question is, who is Gorr the God Butcher? Let's check him out. So Gorr in Marvel Snap is a 6-cost, -1 powered card with the ongoing ability of +2 power for each on-reveal card in play. So I think he's a huge statted card in Marvel Snap. He's going to get to some crazy power potential, especially depending on what your opponent is playing. And he reaps the benefit of all the on reveals on the board. So definitely be careful of his massive amount of power that he's going to be dropping down on the board. So now let's look at the pros and cons about Gorr the God Butcher. Let's take a look. So the first pro about him is that there's a lot of on-reveal cards in Marvel Snap. He reaps all the power from all these on-reveal cards, so his power potential is insane in Marvel Snap. Another pro about him is that it's affected by both players, right? So it's not only just based on your cards that you play that are on reveal, it's based on what your opponent is playing. So that potential is crazy. Another pro about him is that, again, a huge power potential, right? If you need a huge finisher, it kind of brings me back memories of old Blob, if you guys remember, before he got changed. But that power potential is insane. So I did the math. It's around maybe 70 power. If you have most of the board that's on reveal cards, it's freaking crazy. It's an easy ability to achieve, right? So again, depending on what your opponent is playing, if they're playing a heavy ongoing list, then you're probably not going to do that well. But if both of the players are playing on reveal, he will definitely do very well. So now let's talk about the cons about him. So big power means easy counter, right? So again, there's cards I will mention in the next slide that can counter him, and just don't feel like you are safe with that amount of power on the board. Another con about him is that it's a bad base power. Just imagine if you get spider hammed or the card gets disabled somehow by potentially leech, right? That -1 power is brutal, making him a dead card, right? Another con about him is that it's a power based on what the opponent is playing. So depending if they're running a very heavy ongoing list, then you probably won't reap that much benefit. But obviously the cards that you bring that are on revealed can benefit for him, which should be enough power, honestly. But if you are facing against an opponent that has tons of on reveal, you will destroy them, honestly. Another con about him is that he's a 1-card finisher, right? 6 costs, usually they are played alone. Unless you could discount Gorr's cost, then definitely you could maybe potentially run him with, another card, but usually it's a 1-card finisher. So it's a little bit predictable in a way, right? All right, now let's look at some of the key synergies and counters for Gorr. Let's take a look. So the first synergy that I want to talk about is Wong. He's a symbol for on-reveal cards, especially, most Wong decks are very greedy with on-reveal cards. So you definitely want to pair up Gorr with Wong. Mystique is another great synergy for Gorr. Gorr is ongoing, so if you can cheat out Gorr early and then copy Gorr with Mystique, you're going to get tons of value with that power. Mr. Negative is another great synergy choice for Gorr because Gorr is only -1 in power. So if you flip that power right, it's gonna be pretty good. Now let's talk about the counters. So Shang-Chi, of course, the big power cards, just like Gorr, Shang-Chi loves them. So easy counter for Shang-Chi. Rogue is another great counter because of course Gorr is ongoing. So if you time it right, you can steal that power from Gorr, and then you're gonna have an easy lane winner. Now let's talk about Super Scroll. Of course, Super Scroll takes the ongoing ability of all the ongoing cards. So if you see Gorr on the board, then Super Scroll will take advantage of all that power. All right, now let's take a look at some of the decks that I brewed. I think they're pretty fun and competitive. Let's take a look. So the first deck that we have is called Mr. Gorr. Again, another play on the classic Mr. Negative style list. Your objective of this deck is to flip the cost and power of your cards in your deck and then reap the benefits, right? So for turn 1, of course, you can't really do much. So for turn 2, you could run either Psylocke or Ravonna Renslayer to discount your future cards, especially you're trying to aim to discount Mr. Negative. So for turn 3, you probably want to aim for using magic on curve potentially. For the other cards that are listed here, like Cassandra Nova, Mystique, or Sage, you want to save them primarily for the end turns or the later turns. Mr. Negative, of course, you want to run them as early as possible. Turn 4 technically is okay, but you want to run them definitely by turn 3 at least. So for turn 5, you probably want to do Jane Foster, of course, to follow up with Mr. Negative. She will get all the 0 powered cards from your deck, which is crazy. There's, chances you could get Iron Man, Cassandra Nova, Mystique, or Sage. Huge value with Jane Foster in this list. Black Panther is great on curve as well on turn 5. Then you could follow it up with Arnim Zola to Arnim Zola the Black Panther. On turn 6, Gorr is great on this list, especially getting all that power. If you have magic already on board with Limbo, the turn 7, you could do Arnim Zola after that. You could even Arnim Zola the Gorr, which is insane. Or you could Arnim Zola the Black Panther or Iron Man, or even the Mystique if you copied, Mystique with something here as well. But there's a lot of synergy, right? So Gorr could be copied with Mystique, or Mystique could copy, Iron Man, or you could just Arnim Zola the Black Panther. So now let's take a look at my second list. So this list is called the Reveal Butcher. So it's a kind of a play on the greedy Wong Black Panther, classic list. So the goal of this deck is to be very greedy with power, ramp up the power with on reveals, and just outpower your opponent. For turn 1, you could do Agony or Echo or Nightcrawler. They're all good choices. Echo is definitely a situational based on the locations, but you definitely want to use Echo to protect your Wong in the future turn. Agony is great to charge up in power of any of the cards here, like Spider-Man, or you could do Black Panther, or even Gorr itself, or even White Tiger. There's so many different options that Agony can bring, that little bit of a buff +2 power to those cards. Nightcrawler is another great choice because he benefits off of Nomura, but I'll explain later why. Jeff on turn 2 is great. He gives you that flexibility just like Nightcrawler. I'll explain why with Nomura. Ironheart you probably want to do late in the later turns, or you want to save Ironheart with Wong. Probably protect him with Echo because again, Cosmo is very, very popular. Symbiote Spider-Man is great on curve as well, especially if you want to throw down Symbiote Spider-Man and then follow up with Black Panther or White Tiger. Nomura is great on turn 5 as well. You want to set up either Jeff or Nightcrawler or any of the cards in your deck, maybe even a Panther on his own lane. The Nomura +5 is insane with this list. So for turn 6, you probably want to do either Gorr or Zola. Zola is great to hit Black Panther or White Tiger, or even Zola the Wong lane if Panther's there or another card is there. So now let's take a look at my third and final list. So this list is called the Stone Butcher. So this is a play on Thanos. You want to use Thanos to get energy with the stones, get draws with the stones, and reap the benefits of bringing out all these big powered cards in your deck. So for turn 1, you could use Thanos' stones to draw cards or discount Thanos. For turn 2, you could use Psylocke to ramp up any of the cards here in this deck to bring them out early. For turn 3, you want to save Red Guardian for a later counter situation. Kyra is great here because she can be played on curve and she works perfectly fine here. Searcher is great here as well. You definitely want to play him on curve, or you could play him later in the later turns. Shang-Chi again is a great counter. You probably want to save him for the later turns. Wiccan is great in this list to ramp up in energy to get more of these big cards out of your deck. You can run some of the stones, or you can run Psylocke with the stones. You could potentially get Wiccan ability to go off, so you get the max energy, which is great. Cole Obsidian is a great synergistic card here because he takes advantage of any of the stones that are on the board. You can place Cole right there. Gorr, of course, is great in this list. Mockingbird is great here with all the stones. They discount her, so she's a great fit in this list. Alioth is a great finisher, especially if you have Prio. More than likely, you will have Prio with this list, so Alioth is a great finisher. Scar will take advantage of all the big cost cards, especially Cole Obsidian, Gorr, and Alioth, and even Thanos. You'll get discounted from all those cards. And of course, Thanos, if you really need to play him, you can definitely play him for his 10 power or his 20 power. For Gorr in situation here, again, you're going to have a lot of on reveals and a lot of power. So Gorr has synergy with Scar as well. Gorr is definitely a great fit in this list. All right, now let's take a look at the spotlights that are featured with Gorr. Let's take a look. So Gorr is paired up with Havoc and Legion. Gorr is a Series 5 card. Havoc is a Series 4 card. Legion is a Series 4 card as well. So I would say Havoc hasn't been really in meta at all. You don't really have to have him at all. So I would say definitely he's a pass. Legion is a great tech card, especially if you like location variants. Changing the locations to all the same locations is pretty fun. So I would say he's definitely useful, but again, he's not really meta, but I think he's a great card to have. So for the Spotlight variants, I would say Gorr's Spotlight variant is really cool, very menacing. Looks awesome. I love the art style. For Havoc and Legion, it's not really my style. I'm not huge into the art style of those, but if you're a fan of it, you totally go for it. Art is subjective. Really depends on your situation on resources, but remember, make sure to always use 4 keys if you're gonna roll for this week. If not, then it could be a token week if Gorr is really valuable for you. All right, now let's take a look at my star ratings for Gorr. Let's take a look. So for competitive, I give him a 4 stars. I think he's going to be pretty good and strong in the meta, especially with all this power that's going on. So his amount of potential with the power is going to be insane. For fun, I would say 3 stars. I'm not huge into power, so it's more of a subjective thing. But if you love big power, then you're going to have a lot of fun with him. So I give him a 3 stars. I think that's safe to say. For flexibility, I would say 4 stars. Technically, he could go in any deck, right? There's so many on reveal cards in the meta. So for flexibility, I give him a 4 stars. I think his power potential is insane. You could use him as a finishing card, especially if you need a lot of power at the end. I think he can go technically in any deck, right? For future changes, I would say 3.5 stars. It's a little bit on the reserve side, but I think, especially with the power here, I think he definitely has potential to get nerfed. Again, it really depends on how he is when he's live, but I'm a little bit worried about him because he could be the next blob, right? All right, now let's take a look at my final review of Gorr. Is he worth a snap or skip? Let's take a look. So I say snap on Gorr. I think he has a crazy amount of potential to get into crazy amounts of power. I think he has the potential to break the meta. His power is insane. The synergies that I mentioned before and the decks, they're pretty fun. And I think his power is going to be insane and a huge menace to Marvel Snap. So if you need a power card, he's definitely the one to get. But let me know your thoughts on Gorr. Are you going to be picking him up? Or what do you think about his synergies? Maybe some decks that I didn't think about? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach 1,000 subs. We're very close, and I would love for you to be a part of it. And remember, again, I'll see you guys on the next Snap or Skip. Happy snapping.